happy people? Welcome to another episode, fam, of Gen Talks Diaries. And these are, of course, our candid conversation. Well, as always, your all-time favorite Blessed Sia. I am here today in studio with one of the mega very best friend of mine. He's a brother, and of course, he's one of the legends that I really prune, from when it comes to this thing up here. So thank you so much for joining in, and make sure that before we go anywhere, you definitely hit that subscription button, and definitely like, comment, and also share with your family and friends. Tell a friend to tell a friend, because this is Gen Talks Diaries, and these are candid conversations that we bring to you in order to have the best of the best, right? So in studio with me, I have the incredible gentleman. I will not introduce him, but I again come back to say that I am always bringing you guys the best of the best, and he just recently graduated, as a doctor in the veterinarian school and stuff. So let me just give him the floor, and then he'll introduce himself, and then he'll tell us where he's from, and then we will take it on from there. Mister.
Yeah, Bob.
Talk to me, my man. Talk to me. Yeah, maybe you can tell our fam maybe your name and where you coming from and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. In short, I'm Prince Mhlongo from South Africa, just like you. In Mpumalanga province, the place of the rising sun.
Come on, man.
Yeah, and I have a family which is Christian.
Nice.
We are a family of 6 actually, just 4 siblings and just parents. Yeah, that's a summary of me.
Nice. No, that's beautiful, mister. And you're a doctor, man. You're a doctor.
Yeah.
Do we have that go ahead from you to actually say, hey, Dr. Mhlongo.
Anytime you want, man. No boundaries. Anytime you want.
Incredible.
Yeah.
No, and are you confident though? Are you confident about it?
Yeah, of course, man.
No, that's
always
beautiful.
Wait.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And from you being, because I'm within the medical field, like with the human bodies and stuff, and then you are maybe with the the veterinarian and so forth and stuff. Maybe a short explanation to somebody who doesn't understand what a veterinarian doctor is. What would you maybe say? In short explanation, like short.
Okay, I can say it's someone who studies about animals, and their health, yeah. So it's broad, so I just can say someone who studies about animals. It's a broad concept, I can say that.
Brilliant. All right, fam. Okay, before you go forth again, please hit that subscription button. Make sure you like, and make sure that you are commenting on this episode, because we are here to bring you the best of the best, right? So, mister, we are living in a generation where academics are so forth like neglected in a way, right? We are living in a generation where we see artists out there are making it in life. We see people who probably are dropouts are making it in life, and are massively growing, because the art of life, at the end of the day, it's success. We all gotta do something and be best at what we do and stuff. Yet then we see the previous generation. I mean, we are talking your generation X, we are talking the other generation, and so those generation, they were a generation whereby without academics you are nothing, man. You are like nothing at all. So what do you think about the current generation, and how this whole facade of education is probably been taken?
Okay, I can say, because of the term education, we think everything that we get from school is education. So I believe that education actually starts from home. So that's where we learn a lot of things. And if you can notice the way they were raised, those ones, I want to take it back to the generations and us. It's unique. So they were educated. But now for us, it's just we wanna be learned. We just at school they don't educate us. They just make us to be learned, because we become people who know more about a lot of expertise, but we can't really live life in a better way with each other. So I can say, but in this generation, people have a lot of platforms, and they can express themselves in those platforms, though they lack the education from home. now they're just learned. They know how to trade, they know how to do all those things, but they don't really know the template to follow. I can say that. Yeah.
Wow. And then speaking of that template and stuff, is there any particular template when we speak education? Or let's first start here. Education and academics. Is it the same thing, maybe, if we really want to look at it in deeper sense or something like that?
I think it can be distinctive because you can get education within academics, but education also can come from other sources in life, as I've said, from home and other places. Even in life, when you meet with people in the street, you learn a lot of things. Education is the art of learning, I can put it in that way. You learn a lot of things out there in many ways, through observation, through listening, through even engaging. So that's education. But with school, I can say it's mostly about being conditioned. So this generation, they don't really like to be conditioned. They want to be liberal.
Sure.
So, but they are not they're liberal in a way, but they don't have really that sense of how is it to be liberal in a proper way, how to be liberal in a way that is mostly empowering to each other.
Yeah,
I can say that.
Yeah. So we are basically that generation that does not really understand the essence of this education that we get and stuff. But do you think that we are a generation that follows the template of being educated, or we are the generation that follows the template of academics in general? Maybe
I can say we fall under academics.
Nice, right.
Under the academics, because let me take you to school, because I wanted to be there. You asked about why this generation looks down on school or whatsoever, education actually. I don't think really they look down on it. I believe the way it's presented to them is not a proper way for them to grasp it. So what can I say? It's been happening even ever since. It's been like when you go to school, you are being taught to be competitive first. It's all about competition. You have to be the best among the rest. So there's no complimenting there. So in order to compete, you have to be a single individual. Isolate yourself. So that's the way they divide and conquer. So they divide people. It's more like school. I see it as a way to put people in hierarchies in life. So that's how it's being designed actually. That's why there's work after that. Now if you're a doctor, a nurse is under you. There's a hierarchy. You don't see them as your partner. You see them as someone who's under you. You are superior than them. So I think education came in that sense, and now some people they see that because it suppresses a lot of potentials out there. I can say that people who are talented, sometimes they can't really express themselves because the system is just always elevating the intellectuals, but it's not elevating the artistic. I can say that.
Come on, man. Yeah. Oh, come on, man. Shucks, this guy is saying deep things here, right? You've got to follow. And that's one of the reasons why I actually had to bring him on board, because it's someone, when he speaks, you just need to listen attentively, because once if you don't, you are gone out. You mentioned something that's very critical within what you said, to say that education was presented to our generation in forms of hierarchy. And I don't know, but I feel like that's the right actually thing that you just said, because we find in our generations today that if someone is a doctor and then you find somebody who is a janitor, does not get the same applaud of hands for that very same, for such a person and stuff. And you find that somebody who is highly educated and stuff, they sort of become the queens and the kings of the platform, if I can put it that way. So in that sense, on its own, it's that our generations, we need a better way or a better sense of how we become observe or how we observe these certain elements in terms of education and academics and stuff. And let's talk about like guys who really made it in life, but then they didn't go to school, or some of them went, but most of them are dropouts and stuff. why do you think maybe it becomes easier for this generation to say that to hell with school? We don't want school. Who wants to go to school and stuff? And yet then they still are able to maintain their lives or maintain a normal like standard of life.
Okay, you say that one is too like multifaceted, but I can just say, why do this generation look at things in a whole new way? I can say that, yeah, our generation, as I've said, is all about platforms. You mentioned it earlier on. They have the platforms to exercise those creative skills or exercise their creativity. They can spark anything from themselves. But in school, there are a lot of restrictions. There are a lot of restrictions. You just get in class and you listen to someone who get out.
Sure.
What can I say? Life is about curiosity. So all these platforms, they bring curiosity to the kids and all of us. So that's where you get to learn more about yourself and others, the significance of people, what matters about people, what matters about you, how do you play a role within people, what matters about life actually. Because I believe here people study, they are looking for jobs, there's no jobs, but with this one they get to explore the skills, explore all the kind of talents they want to explore, and without any kind of holding back, because it's always there for them. It's always there, and they always find the dots they're connecting. They always find kind of elevation. They always find something that's gonna facilitate them to get there. But with school, it's just study, then you work for someone. But no, who are you going to work for if you can't create? Because most of the time these days, school makes us to be conditioned. It makes us believe that we can reason, but mostly it teaches us to memorize. So in school, you just learn to memorize, but in life, you have to learn to reason. So now they can reason better because they understand that even if you put them in unique scenarios, they have to reason.
They have to, yeah.
They don't have to memorize only and think that they can use their brain while they cannot.
Sure.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come again. You said that in school they teach us to memorize.
Yeah.
But life teaches us to reason. That's beautiful. That's beautiful right there. But now, with that statement and stuff, are you a person that is pro academics, or you are like you are nagging, like neg academics? You are saying no, we don't need school at all, or you are a person who said that there are certain things that are broken within the schooling society that needs to be fixed.
Okay, a bit of both. I think I don't think everyone needs the school system.
All right.
Some do, some don't. But now the reality is that the elders, especially the parents, is their duty to discover within the kids who needs it and who doesn't need. From a young age, like if you go to other ethnic groups, you find that they can discover the kid. Now this kid is good in this thing. They teach them that thing. They don't really need to go to someone who's gonna teach them something that they were given, like by the department or any government. They just teach them what they see the kid can do, or they just able to explore, or they can expand on. But
Exactly. Yeah.
so I believe that is the duty of the parents to observe the kids and see what place they fit in actually, what thing can they be better at. Because with school, as I've said, it suppresses other potentials. Other people, they are better with this thing, but they don't get the platform. If someone is funny, for instance, they make jokes, they say, they clown, they are loud, what they cause disorder. But if you can find between that person, you can find that no, this person has humor. They can make people laugh without even effort. But that humor is not celebrated. In the end,
man.
What is it? It's condemned. So a lot of things are condemned, even from young age. This kid is restless from whatsoever, from the kindergarten. Why? No, this kid is curious. He's touching these things, but they don't see it's curiosity. They see it's someone who's naughty. You are a menace. So, yeah. So that's why the parents have to see from the kid by observing. No, this kid, it doesn't want to be conditioned. They are non-agreeable. Because in life there are two kinds of people, agreeable and non-agreeable. If they're non-agreeable, they want to explore. They're agreeable, they just want to stay in that kind of zone that you put them in. So yeah.
Sure. Come on, man. Yeah. So there's something that you mentioned within what you said and stuff, and what school creates that kind of limitation, and that's a very valid point, that it is not celebrated. That kind of celebration, the enthusiasm that a person has in particular things in life and in other works, like other walks of life and stuff, we never find it very much to appreciate those things, and therefore it deteriorates, and now it becomes something as you are wasting your time, or you are doing something that is out of line, doing something that is out of hand and stuff, right? I truly do agree with that. I definitely do, because we know that even okay, from a biblical context and stuff, if I can quote and stuff, that your gift shall make room for you and stuff, right? But now let's come and let's be practical in the world that we are living in today. Do we think if there are certain things that we can literally like push forth, or we can support in a way, like certain careers or certain dreams that a person has and stuff, to say that somebody, just a dumb example maybe, okay, not say dumb or stuff, but somebody likes cleaning, for instance, you love cleaning and stuff. I'm not sure if you can actually go to a university and stuff and say that I'm studying cleaning and so forth, right? But then for someone who really appreciates or wants such this kind of a platform and stuff, where they can embrace themselves, where they can develop their skills and they can polish themselves and stuff, I don't think our world or our society really has those kinds of infrastructures to actually help somebody like that, to actually give them maybe a certain lump sum of money to say that, okay, cool, this is a job for you and stuff. So how I'm trying to structure my question is that in what you are saying and so forth, what happens when money is involved? Or how does such a person, or how can we encourage somebody like this to say that go for such a job, but then you will not get paid for it? Or you can get paid, but the money that you'll be getting paid will be peanuts.
They say everything starts from the home to the community then creates the society. So I can say, let's break down the hierarchies first. From the Prince point of view, celebrate any kind of potential a kid has, and the community has to come together and just always embrace their kids the way they are with their differences, and also encourage them to explore any kind of potential they think they have. Like, let's break the hierarchies, as I mentioned that.
Sure.
There's no better career. Let's just teach people there's no better career. Of course, it might seem significant. Every career is significant. There's no one that is better, doctor or what, teacher. They all matter. So
they all matter, yeah.
It has to start from the psychology. Now they were taught, they were conditioned that way. Our parents, now they have to uncondition us. We have to unlearn that first before we can even put money in the picture, because money is not a problem. Money is just a currency. But we have to understand that they have to deal with the psychology of putting careers or professions on hierarchies, and just put them as just, you come to do something in the community to complement the society. So let's just break down the hierarchies before we can go further on it.
Nice. So before we start first with breaking down all our psychological perspectives, to say that if you are a doctor, I mean, you are the highest paid, or you are better than the other one that is probably a policeman and stuff, right? And then what about the financial standards of those individuals? How should we as a society like maybe portray them and stuff? Because if a doctor is getting paid maybe $1,000 and stuff, and then a policeman is getting paid $500, and I mean, of course, the one who has a much better hierarchy, don't you think that the financial part of things still puts those hierarchies there? Or the first problem of the hierarchies, it's the financial standard. What do you think, maybe?
Yeah, as I was tackling the psychology, I was talking for everyone, including the stakeholders or the authorities. Once it's in their mind, now they'll understand that they have to appreciate the policemen and give them a raise. Appreciate nurses, they don't have to go to strike to get raises. Teachers, they don't have to go. So as a psychology, they believe that they were taught that this person has to be more appreciated than the other. Even when you go on the streets, doctor, like you have to, it's not bad to celebrate, but celebrate even this teacher. You are building the doctors. Without the teacher, they can't be a doctor.
Sure.
Without a nurse, they can't be whatsoever. They can't, because these people, they just prescribe, but this one they nurture. So we need nurturers as well. Those who spend more time inside that place where it's difficult. Those ones they just prescribe and leave. But this one's they spend. So there has to be that celebration, even with the financial part, but it has to be instilled first to the authorities or stakeholders. Then it comes back to the community. They teach them, they unlearn these things, then they can learn now to appreciate. Even if you are, it's just like domestic workers, if you hire someone who's domestic work, you have to appreciate them because it's important what they do. Even if it may seem lightly, but it's so crucial what they do, because they keep your place home and your place welcoming and comfortable. But if you don't appreciate it, then
sure,
it's not something that they do intentionally. It's not deliberate. Subconscious psychology. It has to break down the hierarchies. Start teaching people to unlearn from the authorities to the ones who are minors.
So our problem first starts. It begins up there, right?
Yeah.
It begins with the man in power and so forth. Maybe if they can change the education system that we have in the world today, probably the world would be a better place.
Of course.
Yeah, because you are right. One thought that came into my mind as you were speaking and so forth is that we grew up in a generation that our parents, they would literally like, okay, I have a like kind of a situation and stuff. One of my mentees and stuff, the parent, like they do oftenly speak to me, right? And then they were asking me that, actually, Sia, you know what? I love my boy, I love my child, and the way how they are, you know, I want the best for them in life, right?
Yeah.
But now my child wants to go do music, and through the walks of music or the artists that we have seen within our country and the people that grew up around us and stuff, apparently even like maybe one of the relatives as well wanted to do music and so forth, but their route was never successful. It crushed down and so forth. So for a parent who wants to say, I want to support you as my child, but I want to support you in a career or a dream that is valuable, that will put you somewhere in life, because I think that's what every parent goes through and so forth. So what would you say maybe like for a parent like that to say, my child wants to do music, but music in a way it's not a career, and I don't think you will succeed or you'll make money, because as a parent you're speaking from a place, I just want the best for this kid. How does that go about?
They say struggling doing something that you don't love is stress, but struggling doing something that you love is passion. So if you want to take away passion from a person, they will last as long as you want them, but they won't be sustainable. So you find even in those careers that we're talking about, nurses, now they're going to be yelling at sick patients. Why? They were forced. Teachers, you see, they just neglect kids to say, no, these ones are not intellectual enough. So now we just say, why? A teacher is not someone who can give up on a kid. They try other means, and there's no someone's gonna yell someone who's sick. So why? They are not passionate about that thing. Sometimes they are passionate, but they are not appreciated, as I mentioned earlier with finances. So the better way, as you said your question, I believe the better way is just, as a parent, don't have expectations on your kids. Just tell them to be what they dream to be, because a parent is not someone who has to form a dream or craft a career for you. It's someone who has to support and always ignite something from you that is already in there. God gave you something, but they don't have to give you whatever God guides you to. Is something that you have to do already. You can never tell your parent what you have to do and leave you aside. So whatever you have, the parents have to take it seriously, because it came from you. That means it's so important. You can never just want to do something that did not spark any kind of love or any kind of thing that you think is so significant, any vision. So the vision that you get is something that is for you really. But if parents, they think, they have to do this kind of career, then you're still gonna have a crooked society with more learned people, but it's so crooked because they are not really fitting in the puzzle.
So our society, in a way, it segregates someone with not, if a person, okay, what I want to say is that our society segregates people that don't have a good academic record or academic standard and stuff. And then I wanted to come and ask this question to say, what happens then? Because in the generation that we live in today, and trust me, Gen Z is one of them, you know, from 2000 us, going up.
No, even us, we're part of it.
Yeah.
95 and then.
And our generation says that, my man, passion doesn't matter today, but the only thing that matters is money. We are a generation that chases after money more than any other thing. I mean, we speaking today, we have the caliber of slay queens. They drop out of school, they get the sugar daddy, and then that's it. They make it. You know, we have. I apologize for this one, but we have that our generation has even publicized candidates such as, you know, porn stars and everything like that. You know, they have publicized it, and it is being accepted in our society that, okay, cool, prostitution, it's the normal thing and stuff. You know, I'm not saying that it's not normal, or I am actually throwing shades towards those, but we grew up. Back in the days, it was not normal. You know, once you mention such a word as pornography and so forth, people would absolutely go to a blast. You get it? So today, we are living in such a way that everything is about money, about money, about money. So what do you think about the whole idea of passion and money?
I think they can coexist. Anything can coexist, but let's start here with the thing of money. As you say, we're chasing money, we're chasing the bag. We want to get the reward, but we don't want to add value. So with money, is a reward. It's more like a byproduct of something. So for us to wanna get the byproduct without even putting the effort, it's just like ridiculous, because you have to understand that, what can I say, with the passion thing, of course some things that you do within your passion, you won't love them, but overall, passion is the overall thing of what you are doing. It's not that you, whatever you're doing, everything you love. There's some things that are tiring. There are things that we have to deal with hurdles then there. But what it gives you is sustainability. You can't be sustained doing something that is not coming from within you. Because money is an extrinsic factor. Passion is an intrinsic factor. What keeps you going daily, even if you don't feel like doing something. You can wake up and do something because it comes from within, and it pushes you to do what you want to do and add that kind of value. Then the byproduct comes with its man. But if you're going to look at the byproduct, you won't put the effort, and the effort comes from the passion and goes to the work, not the job that you have, but the work that you put in. So I believe that chasing money, it makes us to have more greed and desire. And now we lack to understand the fundamental of what the effort. We just want outcomes without input. So I can say that.
So you think our generation is a train that's gonna crash?
It's already crumbling, man. The reason why I say greed and desires, because this world now is every man for himself. And what can you do? We are taught by social media. Parents, they no longer play the role to teach us what is important about communing with each other on anything that we do. If you look at the generation that you spoke about back then, they used to commune. When you are weak, I'm strong, I'm gonna raise you there. But now it's about, when you look at money, you forget about the individuals that are around you, because now you can even try to plot something against someone because you wanna capitalize. You're always looking for leverage, and you wanna always make sure you eliminate your rival. Now we're rivals on each other, but we don't say that we are rivals. I'm looking for an opportunity to scam you. Why do people scam other people? They know that it's bad to lose money, but they know that this now is my rival because they have what I want in plenty. But abundance does not satisfy people. The reason what I'm saying that's because, what can I say? Our psychology, especially nowadays, our psychology is more on scarcity than abundance. No matter what you have, people, they don't really feel what they have. Their mind is always on default that if something scarce, something is missing. We live on scarcity mindset, not abundance. Abundance is nothing for us. It doesn't matter. I can say that.
Wow, man, shucks. There's one reason why I call you wise man, and everybody's always questioning me. Because one thing about you, man, you are quiet, and I wonder always what what goes on in your thoughts. You're a quiet guy.
Yo.
But immediately when you open your mouth, man, yeah. Speaking of the whole thing about abundance, right?
Yeah.
That money is abundance and stuff. So would you encourage a lifestyle that does not chase a bag but chases passion? And when I say the bag, I don't mean just having a nice life of affordability where you wake up in the morning, you can buy your car, you can buy your house, you can buy whatever, but I mean wealth. Do we chase passion or do I chase wealth?
No, you chase greatness. What can I say? Riches and wealth, they are about success. We're taught about success. I want to bring it back to school. It's about success. But
Yeah,
success is
yeah.
an individual thing. That's why you have to isolate yourself and rise through the hierarchy, the ladder. But now, when it's greatness, when you rise, you pull others up, then you can all live
A successful life.
successful life. But with the thing of now you looking for wealth, you have to eliminate others because you're not the only one. You have rivals. Now people are rivals. I mentioned it. Now you have to compete. And when you
Yeah.
compete, you have to eliminate. You have to make sure that you have the leverage. You have to make sure that any opportunity that you get, you capitalize. So we become opportunistic.
Sure.
We become
Come on, man.
opportunistic. And when we become opportunistic, we lose the conscience. We're no longer conscious about a lot of things that are matter. As long as I've got what I want, I don't care if you're ahead. I don't care if now I've pulled you down. That's why now we want to be promoted by demoting others. When I demote you, I get promotion, but that's not promotion. That's sabotage. So that's it. When you want the world, you're chasing the man. Of course, there's nothing bad with wanting man, but if it's your primary objective, then you understand that in the end, you always want to demote people along the journey.
Somebody
That's
must
the way
die.
you have to promote yourself. So that's your betterment. That's the only way you know how to better yourself. But you better yourself alone because you're successful, but you don't live for greatness because nothing is imparted from you to others.
To others. So great in an eggshell. Greatness is greatness when others are a reason why they succeed. When you are a reason for someone else's success.
Yeah, no man is an island. They say that.
Yeah,
You have to dig deeper to the statement. Don't just think, nah, they've said it.
Hmm.
Take time and look at it. What did they really mean?
And what do they really mean? No man is
No,
an
I
island.
say it's for you. It's for you.
okay.
You want to take it from me.
Literally, I strongly believe in that, because in the generation that we have grown in, but it has its own buys, it has its own cons and prawns and stuff, because we are living in a world whereby you try to be the Samaritan man and you try to raise other people up, but then those very same people, as you said, that you don't raise them up, but it's sabotage. But it becomes the other way around, because you try to raise a friend up, but that friend has motives, intrinsic motives to do what, to come on board and do what, and sabotage you at the end of the day. So I'm a very firm believer when it comes to no man is an island. Really, you need somebody, and this goes back to something that we spoke about. I think the whole idea of a nurse. You say you were mentioning the hierarchy, to say that there's a nurse and then a nurse. There's a cleaner and then a domestic worker. There's a constructor and stuff. We are all a food chain. We are all a chain. We everybody needs somebody. If you don't need someone, then there's literally a problem with you, because there is something like that, because everyone makes a dream work. They say that the cliche, it said that a team works makes a dream work. So it is crucial for somebody to have someone, because if you are not, you are a sinking boat. You are sinking, my man. You are a sinking boat, because even if you look at tiny things such as a car and stuff, everything practically, if you individualize it, you find that it works together to make something work. A car, there's an engine involved, there are wheels that are involved, there is seats that are involved in order to make a whole car. So everybody there, has something to do and something to contribute to do what, to make the entire thing work. Most of the time I take this as an example of purpose. That's how we define purpose, and one of the reasons of this podcast, it's purpose. we are here to embrace purpose, to say that there are gaps that we need to bridge. There's a gap between purpose, there's a gap between a gap between purpose, there's a gap between lifestyle, and there's a gap between a dream. And all these things, they co-link together so that they can make one particular individual, sum up and really make a great impact in the world today and stuff. So that's what an island for me is. That's what an island.
That is very profound. Now I've learned from something.
No, it's true, man. And as you were speaking, to say that in school, we don't really we are conditioned to memorize in school, but we are not being taught. So the art of life is to teach you the art of knowing how to work with something. And the art of school is to teach you the information and how to process that information. That's how I take it. I take it. For instance, there was another day where I was just sitting, and then a thought came up in my mind, and the thought was about the entire individual having to think that when it comes to my thought went away now, but it's okay. My thought went away. I'm downloading it.
Okay, I will get back to it.
But how do you think, how should we probably embrace this whole thing of the education system, and how should it be implemented in your own ways?
I think it has to be broken down first. You can't build from something on top of another foundation. Just break it down first, then we start rebuilding. I'm not saying we should just stop school whatsoever, but we should put it in a way that is gonna be, at least it can blend with whatsoever is there already. But we're trying to channel it in a proper path. So I believe that we have to do a rebuild, because as we say, school is called formal education. Then the other things that you learn from outside are called informal. We should let everything that people are learning to be education. Let's not formalize or informalize it, because in the end it's gonna add anything to them. It's gonna add something that's gonna be making them to be people who gonna see things in a new perspective, because perspective is important. I forgot to say this. It's very important. As I've said, that in school you get the perspective that you have to be better than someone else in order to be praised. That's why even when you do better, what they say, they give you more better treatment, but the others, they're just being neglected. But you have to understand that when it comes to this life thing, we have to make sure that everyone is being praised in their unique way. Don't let people be outcast in a crowd. Make sure that everyone is involved. It's not survival of the fittest. We just have all to fit in. No one is to survive by being fit, because being fit means now we have to battle. So we don't battle here. We just move together.
Together. Oh wow, man, that's so brilliant. That's wow, man. That's really brilliant. So in the world that we are in even today and stuff, right, what do you say? I mean, you are a doctor, and for someone who's watching this, might not be a doctor, or might not be, and someone wants to probably be like, what, school is hard for me and I want to drop out and stuff. But people are taking this from someone who is educated, someone who is a doctor and stuff. How do you respond to someone who says, I want to drop out of medical school, or I want to drop out of a school because I have this dream that I want to pursue? So according to them, they don't need education. And then what would you speak to someone like that, of that caliber?
Okay, you mentioned purpose earlier on, so we have to ask them what makes them believe that what they are doing is their purpose or is not their purpose. So they have to discover what really is the purpose for them, what really drives them, because sometimes people might want to quit things, but not because they are not their purpose, but because they are difficult. So it depends. So you have to talk to the individual and understand what really is purpose to them, and what do they really want to do with their lives, because they might want to do something because of clout. Friends are doing it, not because there's something bad with what they are doing already. So try to tell them to introspect. That's why they always say introspect, but fewer people introspect. Even now, when you're doing your career, there are very few people who can ask them, after the years that you've done, did you introspect? They don't introspect. So tell them to introspect. You don't have to give them the answer. They have to find it within themselves. Yeah, that's why I said greatness, not success. In the end, what do they add to other people, not to themselves alone? Because some things are selfish, they're not selfless. So yeah.
Wow. Come on, man. Our director had a question. You forgot your question. Nah, it's alright.
She's scared. She's scared.
You are pouring out a lot, man. It's too much for us to contain.
He said something about how we have non-agreeable and agreeable people, I think.
Yeah.
And do you think that most of us are suffering from being agreeable? We just go with what the system tells us to do, and we just do it because we're told that if we become non-agreeable, we're gonna fail in life. And how to fix that?
Do I need? Okay.
Okay, no, I hear what she said. Yeah, we are afraid of failure. You said that because they say if we don't become agreeable, we will fail. I believe that, as I mentioned, we are being school is conditioning you to be agreeable. So I believe even the way they made things, I don't think people fail most of the time in life. People, they just fumble. The thing is that when you fumble, they name that as failure. That's why they make you to be scared. They make you to be frightened. No, people, they don't really fail. They just fumble. Failing is not attempting. Once you attempt something, you succeeded to attempt, but you fumbled at executing. So it's about execution, life, man. It's about execution. So people, they just fumble at executing, but they name that as failure so that you can be scared and think that you are imprisoned. You cannot do better than that, or you cannot move outside of that. So don't take things as failure. Don't have failure in your mind. Have that you fumbled because you've tried. Once you don't try, then you fail to try. But once you try, you've succeeded to try, but you fumbled at executing. Just execution. That's the only part. But you can get better. That's why there are mistakes. Meaning they teach you, they show you how to execute better and better. Without making those flaws, you cannot get to the point of executing. There's no perfection in execution. It's all about progress. That's why even all the inventors, they took many times, they did not fail, they fumbled. So now they managed to be able to execute. I hope, unless you can also rephrase, if I did not really, she said non-agreeable and agreeable. Yeah, we've been conditioned to be agreeable. We don't question stuff. Once they say this and this, spade is spade, we just take it. But to be non-agreeable, it doesn't mean that you are stubborn. It means that you want things that have validity. Everything has to be valid. You can't just say, I should not walk out of the room. Why should I not walk out of the room? No, it's dangerous. What's dangerous? Tell me what's out there.
Yeah.
So they don't tell us, they hide things, even from home. Most of the time we're African. They don't tell you, they just say, don't walk at night. Why should I not walk? I'm not saying we should not listen. Give us the full picture so that we can know that when we suffer the consequences, you told us.
Exactly.
We told us, we won't have to blame anyone because we know that. Tell people the outcomes of their actions.
Yeah.
Don't hide it. So that they can know whether they agree to it or not. Don't scare them.
Sure.
With something that is not true.
Wow, man. That's really great, man. One of the things I remember, I think in my book, I think it's chapter 4 or chapter 6 or something like that, it's entitled I Have to Fail, and that's how I literally open up this whole thing of failure to say that failure is a 4-letter word, right? Failure is a 4-letter word, and when we break it down, it's the F is for focus, and the A is for association, you know, and the I is for introspection, and the L is for learning, you know. So if I fail in something, it doesn't mean it's the death of it, man. It's just, it's failure in execution. You know, it's a better way of relearning again and finding out the mistake. You know, in engineering, I think they call it fault finding. You have to do the fault finding. That's something that's really, really, really cracking most people and stuff, because once the society says that you failed deliberately and stuff, it's the end of the world. That's where now the psychological suicide comes in place, and all the other things of negligence and so forth, you know, some depression and all these things, you know, they sum up to only one thing only. So if you focus better, you'll be better. If you associate yourself with better people or better things, you know, you'll be better at what you do. And if you introspect really yourself to say, why did I do this, and what was the mistake, where did I go wrong and stuff, and lastly, if you learn, then of course you are the best, man. My brother, thank you so much, man. Wow, I wish I could have you, you know, we can just continue and talk and this is, I mean, a brilliant conversation. And
of course,
the first time, this is one of the different episodes that we've ever had in the podcast, you know. This was knowledgeable, and thank you so much for coming through. And maybe before we close, do you have any parting words?
Okay, parting words. Okay, I can say, as you talking about education, failure on those things, I believe that, don't succumb to pressures from the society or people, even from home. You don't succumb to anything. If you fumble in life, you can do better. You did not fail. You just fumbled. You can execute better. Just go and consult and do better. Thorough research, do thorough just introspection, as you mentioned. Just see where did you go wrong. Because I understand that in the end, life is not about perfection, it's about progress. So as the more you advance, the better you become. So I believe that you are doing better. Don't put pressure on yourself. Celebrate your little victories. Any step of the way matters. So don't just take things lightly. Celebrate yourself. Appreciate yourself. Appreciate your flaws and appreciate your flourishing. Life is better. You are doing better than you think. That's all from Prince.
Man. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard, I mean, directly from the doctor himself, Dr. Prince Mhlongo, here in us with us today in studio. And I mean, these are our candid conversations, and thank you so much for joining. And again, I remind you, please do not forget to hit that subscription button. Make sure that you like and you comment and you share with your friends. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. And these are our candid conversations, and we hope to see you next in the next episode. And definitely thank you so much. Always remember that from above to me, from me to you, it is love. Blessed see ya, proudly spontaneous, sponsored by God. And these are our candid conversations. Thank you.